I hold the mic like niggas hold their girls tight, but I ain't after her. Probably your Acura Pearl White, the hook or nah. And many times I done hit it, just be specific more times than dimes. I hold the mic like niggas hold their girls tight, but I ain't after her. Probably your Acura Pearl White, the hook or nah.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we are taking a look at an indie house. You guys know how much I love doing these, and this one is a fairly newer house. It is called Perfumes by Terri, and it was started in 2014. Now, the way that I found out about this house was on Facebook. Carlos Powell has a group on Facebook called Peace, Love, and Perfume. Carlos really is a fixture in the online community, and I think one of the nicest and most genuine people doing this. And I belong to 5 or 6 of these groups, so it's hard for me to be too active in any one, but I do like checking out Carlos's group because they discuss a lot of smaller indie houses. A lot of people in that group were discussing these fragrances, and so, you know me, I had to check them out. And what I saw on Terri's site were a lot of different fragrances for very cheap price points, and that really perked my ears up. As much as I love the Xerjoffs and Amouages of the fragrance world, I think it's pretty difficult to beat getting a small batch scent of high quality for a very low price, and that is exactly what this house does. Perfumes by Terri was started in 2014 by a woman named Terri Bozzo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. She was a nutritionist by trade, always liked fragrances, really had a penchant for gourmand fragrances. She started experimenting with oils and accords and extracts, and what began as fun became very serious when a fellow friend and perfumer convinced her to try the real thing, and that is how this brand was born. Most of her creations are very gourmand and sweet, and they sort of have what is called a Terri-ade base of vanilla, caramel, and butter. So you can see that if you don't have a sweet tooth, it's probably better for you to sample any of these before purchasing, although at the prices they go for, they're pretty easy to blind buy. Most of these scents come in 2 sizes, $12 to $14 for 15 ml or around $25 for 30 ml. And again, these are handcrafted fragrances, and for those prices, it is incredible. Terri also sells sample packs for about $5, so you can try them out there. And I helped get her in touch with Decant Shop, and as of my writing and filming this, Decant Shop is planning on carrying all of her fragrances. For me, the 2 that I really wanted to try off the bat was, and this was a very tough choice to take, but the first one was called Rose Confit, and the second one is called Elegance Sombre. And for this review, I'm going to review Elegance Sombre. Rose Confit, which sort of marries rose to graham cracker and cocoa and red fruit, really wasn't my cup of tea. I'm not a rose guy to start with, and I thought maybe making rose gourmand would change my opinion, but something about it really just didn't work for me. It's a very creative scent though, and I applaud the effort. Elegance Sombre, I also bought, and I think a 15 ml bottle was $14. And the idea behind this one was a coffee break on a cold October day, sitting outside, seeing the leaves change, being warmed up by that coffee. And the notes on this one are birch leaf, licorice, orange, cocoa absolute, butter, CO2, vanilla, bourbon, Davana, oak moss, coffee, Sumatra, benzoin, and patchouli. Now, as far as your presentation goes, these come in a little twisted up tissue paper, and the bottle just has the name Elegance Sombre by Terri, really basic, with a silver and black cap and an atomizer that really does shoot a good spray of juice. So, these are very tiny bottles, and that's okay because these are very powerful fragrances, but that's basically the presentation on these. Now, I think the easiest way for me to describe this fragrance is such. I totally understand Terri's concept, and I can see that, sitting outside with a coffee. What this smells like, almost 1-to-1 for me, is Grand Marnier. Just a glass of warmed up Grand Marnier. And for those of you who don't know what Grand Marnier is, it is a French liquor that marries tropical orange and cognac, and to me this smells like that. I don't drink anymore, but I actually had someone pour me a little bit of Grand Marnier so that I could see if they were that close as I thought they were, and they are. Right out of the sprayer, it is that for me. It's this decadent dried orange peel, like if you let orange peel sit out in the sun for a while. And if that orange peel was studded with cloves and there were cinnamon sticks and star anise, and then you took those dried orange peels with all the spices and you sat them in a vat of cognac, and you put a couple vanilla beans in there, and then maybe some coffee. So actually, like spiking coffee with Grand Marnier. This fragrance, in my opinion, is fantastic. And I think that if Perfumes Roma put this in a bottle and charged $260 for it, people would be eating it up. I really think it would be a Fraycom favorite. So if you, like me, like your gourmand fragrances, then this is an entire collection that you need to run and check out. So this one is just, again, amazing. I will say, though, that the composition is fairly linear. You get heavy orange at the opening, and slowly but surely the orange scent does sort of dissipate, and the fragrance boils down more to the spicy aspect. So licorice, coffee, cocoa, and cinnamon. And so once the orange does fade down, I'm actually wearing it now. Yeah, the spices all really sort of combine and form just this really sweet and sort of Christmassy almost accord. Fantastic performance. I'd be shocked if these weren't EDP concentration. They project. They have nuclear projection. They have great sillage, and they last and last for upwards of 10 hours on my skin and far longer on clothing. This is totally unisex juice. Anyone who likes gourmands can pull these off. Probably any of Terri's scents for that matter. For me, these are best. This one at least is best suited for fall and winter, but you could definitely rock this on a spring evening or cool spring day. In moderation, I would say, when it's a little bit warmer out. And as far as occasion, for me, I'll be honest with you guys, this is a night out or date scent. I don't know that I'd wear it casually, because I think it's too special for that. And I wouldn't wear this to the office personally, just because, I like to wear something. I like to wear, like Creeds to the office and just more like fougere scents. Not really gourmands. I don't really do a gourmand in my office anymore unless they're very dry. So I don't really like wearing them there. Anyway, now if you can't get this or you want to try something different, or for whatever reason, there's not much I can really compare this to. Cerezo by Perfumes Roma, which is a chocolate and orange scent, is a little bit like this, but it's a lot more money and it's a lot drier. Another fragrance that sort of gives me this vibe is Sebastian, another indie perfumer's Royal Espresso. That sort of has the cinnamon and coffee and caramel thing going on, so it's a bit similar, but this is a different blend here. If someone was trying to talk you into buying this, I think they would tell you that for the price, you'd be a real idiot not to try these out. This one is just so unique. The quality on it is just unbelievable. There's nothing else like this going with the butter. She uses the butter in her fragrances. And I think you also do want to support indie perfumers. I don't want to wax poetic about it every time I do this, but that really is where all the creativity in the fragrance world is going. You see what the designers are doing. They're all making the same fragrances now. They're taking their hits and they're turning them to intense or extreme versions. And a lot of the niche fragrances now, what they're doing is they're just making better versions of the designer scents. Now, that's not to say that there's not anything sort of revolutionary or fresh going in niche perfumery. There is, but it's the indie perfumers that are taking the real risks and really setting the trends and doing it for a very wallet-friendly price. So really, I talk about all the time, support these guys. If someone was trying to talk you out of buying this fragrance, what I think they'd probably say is that, look, here's the truth, and I'll be dead honest. If you don't have a sweet tooth, then I don't know that you're going to find anything in the line to suit you. Maybe that's wrong. I've tried most of Terri's fragrances, or at least the ones in the sample packs, and they're all pretty sweet. There's a few, there's a leather one, a floral leather one that's not. There are some ones that aren't as sweet as the others, but for the most part, they're sweet scents. I'd be really interested to see if Terri branches out and does do some scents that aren't as sweet. But I think that's the only thing someone could say. If you don't have a sweet tooth, maybe this one and these won't be for you. As far as me, I do have a sweet tooth, and I'm going to give this fragrance an 8.5 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving it 8.5, and you guys know this, I'm a stickler for presentation, and I don't love this. I don't love most indie presentations, and I totally understand the problem with it. They want to keep the cost of the juice low, and not spend a lot of money on manufacturing bottles or for whatever reason. So I totally get that, but I do have to be consistent across all of my reviews. And then the only other thing I would say is I wouldn't mind the sweetness dialed down just a tad. I find almost all of the fragrances to be just a little bit too sweet for me, but I still love them, and everything on this fragrance is A1. So if you like the sweeter scents out there, then I'm going to say it again, you have to check this line out. It is niche quality at dollar store prices. All of the compositions are unique, and I know she's launched a scent that was inspired by s'mores, and she's working on one that's going to be tobacco and oud, so I am so excited to see what Terri does in the future, and there are many more spaces in my collection for her fragrances, so consider me someone who is going to be a long-time customer of this house. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this review of Elegance Sombre. We will be back next weekend with more reviews, or more videos next week, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. My name is Maximilian.
I had this style ever since I was a child. I got this other style, I ain't flipping a wow. It goes, scientific intelligence with 1 point of relevance. MCs